I intend to share undisclosed facts that are stranger and scarier than most people can comprehend, and it is going to shake the public to the bone. And yes, this involves a cover-up of the highest order by national space agencies, including NASA.
The asteroid is 100% certain to strike Earth, according to one space expert who says this is a matter of life and death.
You'd probably have millions of casualties.
Is a planet-killing asteroid a possibility? NASA has determined that the threat is real.
And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And many men died of the waters.
Chief technology experts and working scientists agree with me. But what's more concerning is that this was prophesied in the Bible for the end times.
Yo, Thomas, what's happening, brother?
Not much, Richie. How are we today?
We good. How's the day going?
Very good.
Nice.
Work went well. Fresh off my vacation.
Oh, yeah. Where'd you go?
Yeah. I went to the Oregon coast, Astoria.
Okay.
Yeah, my sister lives out there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was super nice.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful area. I've been out there like 3 or 4 times now.
Any camping or anything? Or?
No, they live like 15 minutes from town, from Astoria.
Oh,
They live up like in the hills, kind of. There's like a fish hatchery there that her boyfriend works at. They get like a stipend, so they only pay like $300 and live right on the fish hatchery.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, dude.
And you get all the
have
fish
it
you want, or
sweet,
what?
Dude, it's sweet there. Oh, well, I don't know. Probably. I don't know if they get. I have no idea what kind of other benefits there are to that, but potentially.
Hey, $300
you can go
sounds
out.
good.
You can. He has a boat and he goes crabbing out there, and the crab. When we went and bought crab while we were there. It was like $110 for 4 crabs.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be a lot cheaper since you're right next to the ocean.
Right next. You would think, yeah.
Yeah.
But no. But it's super fresh. I mean, it was super, super good. But you can go during the season and fish crab and get like 12 crab. You know, and of course you pay a license fee, but the license fee is probably cheaper than buying 4 crab at a freaking, $110. Holy crap.
Dude, a lobster tail at Albertsons is like $10. And I'm like, yeah, and it's a little, I don't know, 3 inches.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's better just because it is. Maybe it costs more because it is so fresh. Maybe.
I don't know. But the crab business. But you know what else is good? This topic that we're going to about talk to.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. It's an interesting topic. Very far away from the topic of crab, but it's a interesting topic, one that I've been following for a little while. So
yeah, what can you tell us about Apophis?
Apophis. So you are familiar with the term NEO?
No.
That's a near Earth objects.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's NASA will like monitor things of that type, bodies that are potentially hazardous.
Okay.
And there's a specific name to like the scale of like how dangerous it is. But I can't remember like the level of risk that Apophis poses was pretty significant on that scale, but they've since kind of said it's not going to be a threat within the next 100 years. Other scientists say that's a bunch of bupkis, and it's actually still a very big threat, and they're just downplaying it.
That's where I would lean more. I mean, you don't want to tell the public, hey, an asteroid might be hitting here in 2029.
Yeah.
People they're going nuts right now over a president, let alone an asteroid that's going to hit Earth, And it doesn't even matter where it hits, because even if it hits like any body of water, that was just the biggest tsunami, would just wipe anything.
They said it's going to wipe out like, because like I can't remember exactly where they say that it could hit. There was a video of Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about it. It's going to hit one of the seaboard, one of like either the eastern or western, whichever one it is. It's going to totally wipe out that coastline.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There is an asteroid discovered in December 2004 called Apophis, named for the Egyptian god of death and darkness. In the year 2029, the month of April, the 13th of April, a Friday, Apophis will come so close to Earth that it will dip below our orbiting communication satellites. And it is the size of the Rose Bowl. In the era of observing the cosmos with technology, this will be the closest, biggest thing we'll ever see come by. The orbit is uncertain enough so we cannot tell you exactly where that trajectory will be. We know it won't hit Earth. We know it'll be closer than the orbiting satellites. There is a range, a 600-mile zone. We call it the keyhole. If the asteroid goes through the middle of that keyhole, it will hit the Earth 13 years later. 500 kilometers due west of Santa Monica. That's if it goes through the center. If it goes through other places within that keyhole, then the contact point shifts further into the Pacific or closer towards North America. Or something, yeah. Yes. Okay? But if it goes through the center, it hits the Pacific Ocean, plunges down into the Pacific to a depth of 3 miles, at which point it explodes, cavitating the Pacific in a hole that's 3 miles wide, 3 miles deep. That will send a tsunami wave outward from that location. That's 50 feet high, 5 stories. This 3-mile high wall does what? Falls back into the hole, sloshing against itself with such ferocity that it rises high into the atmosphere and falls back down to the ocean, cavitating the ocean again.
Well,
My sister Mandy's super scared about living near the coast because of tsunamis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look what happened. Like I think in Japan, all the tsunamis. I mean, tsunamis are huge in Japan. So
yeah,
I think it's the aftershocks of every like earthquakes, and
right?
Just get tsunamis and stuff.
Right.
But I know the size of Apophis is like 1,100 feet. So that's like
it's like they said it was like 360 meters, so something like that. It was just over. It was like just over like 3 football fields in size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that is a massive rock. And the problem too is if it's like the speed of it. Do you know how fast it might be going?
I don't know. Did you have that?
Because I think it goes 19,000 miles an hour.
Oh yeah. So the mass of an object that's 3 football fields going 19,000 miles an hour, colliding with Earth would be devastating.
Devastating.
Dude. That's devastating.
How do you get away from it though?
They have some ideas of if like it was a for sure thing, they'd be already doing things to kind of push it out of the way, like take a craft and attach it to the side of it and kind of nudge it out of the way of hitting Earth.
You think they could nudge it at 19,000 miles an hour?
Well, it's very different in space because it's all like relative kind of like speed, right? So 19,000 miles per hour and relativity of where the Earth's moving is kind of where they get that number, I would assume. So when you're out in space doing things, you could they could either like come in. It probably depends on how they intercept it. I have no idea really.
I think the have you ever heard of the gravitate? Oh, I can't even speak.
The keyhole?
No, not the keyhole, but the gravitational influence.
Yeah,
like that's around the Earth's atmosphere. So I think that is the big issue because it does say it's going to pass Earth.
Yeah.
But if that gravitational pull pulls it down, it could hit Earth.
It could hit. So what they think is, because that's what I mean when I say keyhole, there's what they call so I'll read this here. So the Apophis asteroid's keyhole refers to a specific region of space where if the asteroid passed through it during its 2029 close approach, it could have altered its orbit, potentially leading to a future impact with Earth, according to NASA science. However, NASA again, they are trying to downplay it, I think, too, but they confirmed that Apophis poses no risk to Earth for at least the next 100 years.
Man, so there's a big controversy.
But I mean, if there was really a potential that it would hit Earth, I would have assumed that they would try to do something to stop it. Again, though, Apophis isn't a planet buster, as they call them. It's not like the one that killed the dinosaurs.
No, that was several asteroids, right?
Yeah. Well, they say it was one big one.
Well, Apophis is also in the Bible. It means God destroyer. Is that right?
Maybe.
I think Apophis means God destroyer, and they talk about it in the Bible, and they call it woodrow, I believe. And
wormwood.
Wormwood, yes.
Yeah.
And that's what they call it, and that's Apophis. And
yes.
It says that's the end of days.
Yeah, I saw that in that video, which is very, it's scary. I put weight to the Bible, but
yeah,
myself, but I know anybody else would probably be like, oh, it's nothing that you can really take to the bank.
Well,
but
how much so they have like the space, pretty much the space military. They have their own space.
Oh yeah, the Space Force.
Space Force.
Yeah.
Why would you dump billions of dollars in Space Force if you're not looking for UFOs? What, because of Apophis maybe?
Well, they also say the next wars will be fought in space too. So you'll have...
Well, that'll be AI though, right?
Yeah, probably a lot of unmanned stuff.
People are going to be suffocating in space.
Yeah.
But like, screw this, I'm not going to be
here. Yeah. There's like super weapons that are like rail guns, like kinetic weapons that like magnetically shoot things, and you could like send like basically something that doesn't even have to have a what do they call a warhead? Doesn't have to even have a
trigger,
like a or whatever the
lasers.
It doesn't have to have explosive attached to it. It's just the weight of the object hitting something. And that's what we were talking about. Kinetic energy with an asteroid does so much damage because it's coming in so fast.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of damage with something small if it's going really, really fast.
Oh no, yeah. I truly believe. I mean, it doesn't even have to be 1,800 feet. Is that
no.
It can be 800 feet.
Yeah.
It can mess up the piece of planet. Put a dent in it.
Yeah.
It's not really the mass of it; is the speed that it's coming at you.
Yeah.
So
Apophis will probably actually break through the atmosphere and actually make an impact. Where there's other asteroids that somewhat smaller asteroids, like there's one.
It's going to be close enough that it's going to hit satellites that's orbiting in space.
Yeah, the pass will be...
We're going to be able to see it. It's going to be passing the moon.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that would be.
What it's going to look like.
Would it be dark? Is it going to be like an eclipse?
I bet it'll be kind of like a bright star that's moving pretty quickly.
Oh, like what happened in Russia a couple years ago with those meteor?
Oh, yeah. And I was going to talk about that too. But you've seen the videos of that, right?
Right.
There's a lot of video out there. And people got hurt. A lot of people got hurt. But not directly from the asteroid itself, but more from the blast.
Like
that
the
it
sonic
created.
boom?
Yeah, because when it exploded in the atmosphere and created a sonic boom, broke glass and windows, and people got hit with the glass. And so like there was like 1,000 people, I think, that had to seek medical attention because of it. But that was in...
I think it was 2014, right?
2013.
Oh, 13.
February 15th, 2013.
The images look like something out of a movie. A tiny asteroid tearing through space at a speed of 33,000 miles per hour before streaking across southern Russia. Cameras caught sight of the white trail as it headed across the sky. And then this. An explosion of light, then a massive sonic boom. Strong enough to shatter windows and damage buildings. There were reports of more than 1,000 people injured, mostly from glass and debris. This video shows a children's judo class. Windows blew out here and in buildings around the region. Some people said they thought it might have been a plane crash. This is the aftermath of the blast in a high school. A 17-year-old student put this video on YouTube, showing the reaction in his physics class. Students screamed and ran into the hallways. He said some in the class thought war had started. Some of the incredible images were caught on cameras placed inside Russian cars. Many drivers now record their journeys.
But the problem with this, especially with Apophis.
How big was that asteroid? Can you guess?
I don't know. Maybe, let's see. I want to say like 48 meters or something. It wasn't that big.
Yeah, it's smaller than that. Yeah,
Smaller?
It was 60 feet.
60
So
feet.
48 meters is like, I don't know, probably like, what, almost 100 feet? Or like just under 100, like
Just,
80 feet?
Yeah, it's like 80.
Yeah.
Maybe 70 something. But yeah, put me on the spot, Thomas. Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know how much a meter. I don't know.
Mathematical
I know
disrespect here.
A meter's more than a foot, but less than a yard.
Yeah.
Is what I know.
But I mean,
this isn't Europe. We don't have the metric system.
yeah, we don't have the metric system here. We go by inches, yards, and feet around here. But yeah, and you know what the crazy part is that it's also like the Apophis it's sometimes it like resonates into the Earth's orbit. Like it could just theoretically bring like into close proximity again in like 2068, so it can come back.
Yeah, so that's like the keyhole. So the gravitational keyhole is something like, what did I say? If it's there's like a specific width to the keyhole. It's very small.
It's a 600-mile zone.
But if it passes through, then it should circle around and hit us in what, like 7 years later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's gonna hit. You think or no?
I don't think so. I hope not. I mean, I really am kind of worried about it a little bit.
I mean, what are the possibilities? What do you think is the possibilities?
Well, there's two. Obviously, the two main ones is it either hits or it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So if it misses, which it's going to miss in 2029. The problem, what they say, no matter what, it's going to miss in 2029, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they're scared about is it passing through that gravitational keyhole. So if it passes through, it's going to circle and come back and hit us.
Yeah.
In 7 years.
Damn.
Funnily enough, on Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. And you know, also like it can pull like the Earth by gravity several factors like to alienate it together. You know what I mean? Like it can pull it so the gravitational pull can pull it that it just evens out and it will go straight hitting Earth.
Oh, is that have they said that could happen?
That could happen. That's what they're really worried about. That it's going to be pulled by gravitational pull, and it's going to be hitting straight on Earth instead of passing. Or it can glance it, or it can be a close call. It can be by several thousands of feet, or I don't know how many to be exact. Hundreds of thousands. Even if it's 100,000 feet, it's still close.
Yeah. Because if it goes through and it hits us in 2036, we kind of know where it's going to hit. It's going to hit like in the ocean. And yeah, one of the coastlines is going to get messed up. But yeah, if it hits us directly in 2029, that's probably up in the air where it could hit. I'm sure. Like I wonder what the data says. Like,
and then
if
Apophis, you know, it can potentially pull Apophis into the Earth's atmosphere, and that's the issue right now. Because a lot of people think that it's just going to come straight at us, and that's not the issue itself. It's the issue is it's going to pass us, and our gravitational pull is going to pull it in, and then, like you say, it's going to spin around, and boom, it's going to hit us 7 years later.
Yeah.
So we got 7 years to try to blow that thing up.
Right. Which I think we could do.
Do you think NASA can do it?
Or Musk.
Yeah. Well, let's just say NASA couldn't bring those astronauts back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they had to get Musk on that one.
And I guess
isn't that what happened? They sent his rocket, or
yeah.
Well, I guess his rockets are NASA's rockets now, right? Or isn't he kind of?
No, I don't think so.
Isn't he like the missions that NASA does?
Well,
they're using Elon Musk's rockets.
They asked him. They said if he can go get them. He goes, sure. I send people there all the time. So it was like a no deal. So a lot of people don't understand that NASA and SpaceX work really well together. Like they send information back and forth. I guess they were calling Elon Musk saying, "Oh, there might be some alien spacecraft." They had some idea that it might be, and Elon Musk goes and says, "Well, no, that's us. We're testing rockets." so
he's covering.
Yeah, he knows
it's aliens, guys.
I don't know.
I do. You remember when the astronauts got there originally, like Neil Armstrong and stuff?
Oh yeah.
And later on, there was like some redacted files and audio where he said that they were watching them when they got there.
Really?
Like, whoever they is.
Who's they? Yeah.
Yeah. Or that they land, like, they weren't talking about themselves when they said that, they landed on there was something else that landed on the other side of the crater that they landed at.
Well, it's kind of like that. Did you see that square on the ground in Mars?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I don't know. It's pretty huge to be natural formation square, I guess, because it looks very right angle-y, which it's not unheard of for nature to create a right angle, but it's the size of it's kind of anomalous. You know, it's kind of weird.
I think it's kind of weird that
I thought the face on Mars thing years ago when that came out was pretty freaking weird looking.
I thought that was kind of like a hoax, just to bring attention to Mars.
I think a lot of people like that.
What makes Mars so special that we can live there? Like, what makes people think we can live there?
Well, just the fact that it's kind of been confirmed that once it did have water and oceans, and that it did have an atmosphere before, very similar to Earth's atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could somehow engineer an atmosphere, there's no reason why you couldn't live on Mars, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I still think that's like far-fetched, though.
But I think the big problem is that Mars doesn't have a magnetosphere like how the Earth has. And that's why its atmosphere is not there anymore, is because it got blasted away by solar radiation.
Oh.
So that's why we have an atmosphere still, and why you see like the northern lights is because the Earth is protected by using its magnetosphere, and that's caused by the metal core that we have in the middle of Earth. It's creating like the magnetosphere, and when the sun like radiation hits you, if we get hit like by like smaller solar flares, it just like kind of warps around Earth because of the magnetosphere, and that's when you see the northern lights.
Well, interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, where'd you learn that?
Just space videos, I guess. that I watched. Watched so many of them.
Have you ever? Do you ever think about like how Earth will be here in a couple like millions of years from now? Like
what it's gonna be like?
Yeah. If it even because I guess it gets closer to the sun every round year of rotation, from the year, and the closer it gets to the sun, the more it's likely to evaporate.
Yeah. Well, if it's anything like history, it's going to be much different in a million years,
Well, it's kind of sad to think that, all mankind might not exist anymore. And if there is no...
Because imagine if we do survive a million years, imagine what technology is going to be like in a million years, dude. It only took us 200 years, from like the invention of flight and automobiles and things like that. Less than, like
about 100 years.
Yeah, it's only been 100 years really since like automobiles and like 130 years almost.
We live in the era right now where like we can see the future, what it would be like here in 50 to 100 years, 200 years.
Yeah, maybe that short term. But a million years?
100 years from now? 100 years ago, there would be no way they can predict
where we're at now.
Yeah. But I feel like now we can predict what we might be at in 100 years.
Maybe.
I think... it's going to be super interesting because I don't know. I think there's not going to be any more humans anymore, and it's going to be sad because if there's no more humans, there's no alien proof that there isn't any alien existence. So we're just going to have a black space. Nothing.
I don't know if there's no humans, what it's going to.
Have you ever thought of if there's no more humans, like what's the point of even being here?
Well, there won't be any point.
Yeah. So what was the point the whole time?
I don't know. I think we're here because, I think I think very spiritually. So I think that we're here to learn. I think that we're here to grow as a species and to grow as, just like a unit almost. I think that there's like some type of like hive mind thing with humans.
Mhm.
Maybe not. Maybe that's too out there, kind of concept. Maybe like that's not the right term to use. But I think when humans work together and are single-minded towards something, they could do almost anything.
Yeah. I don't think the asteroids hitting is like a coincidence. It's more like a reboot, like restart again.
Could be.
I don't think when asteroids hit and disintegrated the dinosaurs, I don't think that was the first time. It could have been several times.
Oh, I'm sure. I know that they say there have been several impacts. I think the Gulf of Mexico was like one of the big ones, and one of the ones that they attribute to killing the dinosaurs. There's another one that's where they say Atlantis was actually at, because they say Atlantis is not actually underwater. Well, like today, it's not underwater. They say it was like an impact crater, because when they describe what Atlantis was, they describe it just like an impact crater.
Oh, wow.
And there's this very specific one they look at when they talk about Atlantis.
So I'm sure, anyone that's studying these asteroids, and by the way, the name it just hit me right now, is the Egyptian god of chaos. It's called Apophis.
Okay.
Yeah, it just finally hit me. But anyway, I was thinking like, if you really think about how the impact Apophis, if it did hit, how would it change the world, do you think? Or would it even change the world? Just to have people realize how small we are in this space, this thing called the universe.
Yeah.
Because we're like a grain of sand? Is that a grain of sand?
Oh, or
People
smaller.
Smaller in the universe, right?
Like a cell.
Like a little cell flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that we're vulnerable as a planet. Anything can destroy us if we're that small compared to what's out there in the universe. And maybe it takes an asteroid to people be like, oh crap, maybe we're not as invincible as we think we are.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's I think that it could bring people together, in some ways. Just like how when 9/11 happened, it was very tragic, of course, but it also united, a lot of people too.
Mm-hmm.
We were all united, Democrats, Republicans, didn't really matter. We all knew that something terrible was happening, and we all agreed something terrible was happening. And the world would probably, come together in that way as well, in the sense of like an impact.
I don't know. I don't know if it will this time. I feel like the moral values have changed.
That's cynical.
Yeah.
That's being cynical. I'm an optimist.
I know you're more optimist than I am, but I feel like the world has changed from, let's say, 50 years ago. I would believe that. I mean, you can't even wave the American flag now without being racist.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think they're going to call Apophis? They're going to be like, oh, that's racist if you talk about it. I think this world...
maybe.
But
that's extreme.
That's a little extreme, huh? But hey, I don't know. Some people are extreme out there.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I think Apophis is it's an eye opener.
Some people might be looking at it as like, this is God punishing some sinners right now.
Oh, I never thought about that. Do you think?
Yeah, they could. I'm sure people would. I'm sure that would definitely be people would be attributing
it's in the Bible.
An impact, like an asteroid impact. They would definitely give that to God. Said that it was time.
What'd you say it was called? Wood?
Wormwood.
Wormwood.
Yeah.
And that means Apophis as well, or what is wormwood?
Good question.
I've never even heard of wormwood.
Let's see. Look it up. Wormwood in the Bible.
And you know what's crazy about Apophis is that it's like you can really spot it. They're saying you can really spot it. And they spotted in 2004, like in National Observatory in Arizona. They've already seen it.
Yeah, they've known about it for a while.
No, but they actually could see it through a scope.
Oh,
like coming at them.
Yeah.
And this is in 2004. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Going 19,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And it's like 2026. How big is the universe? That's exactly what I was talking about. It's like,
huge, dude.
It's massive.
19,000 miles an hour is very slow on a universal scale. Yeah.
It is.
But I was just looking up the wormwood. So in the Bible, wormwood symbolizes bitter calamity, sorrow, and God's judgment. So often appearing as a metaphor for hardship, punishment, or the consequences of sin.
Wow. They should just call it wormwood then.
Yeah.
Instead of Apophis is like after god of chaos.
Maybe that's why they called it Apophis, was because they wanted to get away from the Bible.
Hey, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have some kind of spirituality, knowing there's something way greater out there.
Yeah.
So do you lean more to science or more to religion wise when it comes to Apophis?
I don't know. I feel like I lean more towards science, just because for Apophis, just because I feel like it's kind of too soon, I think, for like a major overhaul of humanity in terms of like what the Bible talks about when it comes to like the second coming of Christ or something like that. I think it's gonna be a man-made war with the second coming of Christ, and that there's gonna be probably a nuclear war of some kind, which that could be very soon too. But I don't think it's gonna be Apophis. So but Apophis is kind of small for that type of like destruction. I think even if it were to hit a major,
what'd you say? 7 football fields?
3.
I mean, that's still pretty big.
That's still very big. It's still big enough. It's going to do some damage, but it's not, like I said, a planet killer. It's not going to be a civilization destroyer. It's going to do a lot of damage wherever it hits.
And it's going to kill
millions, especially if it lands in a populated area. If it hits, like how that Chelyabinsk, Russia in or not Chelyabinsk, but that's where the smaller one hit. Mm-hmm. But the, what was the other one called that we were talking about earlier before I came over? I have the notes right here. The Tunguska. The Tunguska meteor, that did a lot of damage, and it was, they say, 50 to 60 meters wide, so still smaller than Apophis. Mm-hmm. It exploded in the atmosphere. It leveled freaking 830 square miles of forest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was only like I said, 60 meters, 200 feet, 160 to 200 feet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
60 meters, 200 feet?
That's what my notes are. 50 to 60 meters are 160 to 200 feet.
Oh, okay. But I always think, too, how would Apophis change the Earth's orbit? Do you think it would
I don't think it's big enough to do anything.
You don't think it would change?
No. I don't think so.
Do you think it would bring more, like the orbits would grasp more gravity, like it'd be stronger gravity? Because it's kind of like when you pull something that's heavy and you can't pull it, you're not strong enough. So you have to use more force to pull it. So it makes the Earth's atmosphere more stronger than what it usually is.
I don't know if it's going to make the atmosphere stronger or if it's going to make gravity stronger on Earth. I don't think it would. Because, the Earth is 25,000 miles across. So 25,000 miles across, and as versus 100, 300 feet across. That's not even like a 1,000th of a percentage probably of like the Earth's full size. So I don't think it's going to do much in terms of knocking Earth. Like it might. I'm sure it'll probably do like some. Maybe it'll like make us tilt like a few degrees differently.
Earth?
Like yeah.
Oh,
that could be
even
devastating.
Worse.
That could be huge. Yeah.
They say if the Earth like loses gravity for a tenth of a second, this whole planet's upside down.
Man, if we lost gravity for for any amount of
tenth
time,
of a second,
it would be crazy.
Yeah. And imagine pulling force into a big ass rock.
Yeah.
How would that change?
I don't know. I'm sure the scientists are wondering that too. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interested people when this thing. It's going to be huge because when it's going to be a national thing, it's going to be a worldwide thing. When this happens, everybody's going to be watching.
Oh no, I know I will be for sure.
Yeah, everybody's going to be wondering what's going to happen.
Well, it's kind of like also, what I was thinking since you were saying that everybody was watching. Everyone's going to be watching this.
Mm-hmm.
What about when Elon Musk? Remember when he rescued the 2 astronauts? Have you even seen it in the news?
No.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
Yeah,
that's kind of
I
like
heard something very like vague in passing, and that he saved him. And
well, yeah, and NASA couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He had I forgot what the ship was called, Starship maybe, or he had a ship and that was able to bring him and go and come back safely. And NASA didn't have the technology to do it, so they asked him. But because of the Biden administration, they rejected him going because they could have got him sooner than they expected.
Mm-hmm.
And anything associated with Trump or Elon, they're like, nope. And then eventually they were going to do it, but not during the campaign, which is, if that is true, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
They left those astronauts out there more of a political.
A long time, too, didn't they? Like
8 months.
Yeah.
When they're supposed to be there for 8 weeks.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They would refuse to say, too, that they were really, like, stranded out there. They were trying to, like, play it off as, like, a small thing.
But
like,
this is like news. Like, this is, like, should be in every news. You rescued 2 astronauts from space and you brought them safely to Earth. Something NASA wasn't able to do. How is that not in the news?
Yeah, I don't know. They don't. I mean, I think it's becoming
all these Tesla haters are.
Yeah, I think that is what I think that's part of the reason. I'm sure the Fox News was probably covered it.
Yeah, you think if Apophis comes by and the Trump administration, do you think they'd even talk about it? Let's say Elon Musk, because it's not far away. 2029 is what 4 years away from now, right? 5 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be here before we know it.
2025. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 years from now.
Very short time.
So let's say Elon Musk gets involved. And they're, of course, they're going to ask him. He's one of the smartest men when it comes to astrophysics.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And they don't want to put in the news because it's Elon Musk, you think? How crazy would that be?
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
The world's about to end for some people.
It's like, but we want to be political.
But yeah, and another thing, if it hits body of water, I mean, like I said, it's going to wipe out wherever is next to it.
I don't know.
And that's more likely because the world is 80% water, 20% land.
I wonder if it would do more, if it would really actually do more damage hitting the water.
I think it would.
Yeah, because wherever it lands, if it lands in the water, you're getting, a lot more than just one coastline. Yeah, obviously the U.S. is a coastline, but there's going to be every other coastline too.
Yeah,
that's going to have to deal with that across the world.
Yeah, I think if it hits body of water, it would be more.
They said it's going to cavitate 3 miles deep.
Oh God.
So, and then all that water is going to be displaced.
3 miles.
3 square miles. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, no. I think it'd be way more damage in water than it would be if it just hit land.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's kind of crazy to think.
Yeah,
so.
It's scary, man. Asteroid impacts are. It's one of those things. It's not a matter of if, but more of a matter of when. Yeah. Do
you think this Earth will end with an asteroid hitting it? Maybe if it's not Apophis, another one.
I think that would be the most likely scenario of it skidding. It's either going to be like in terms of the Earth ending, like the highest possible scenario, like because the Earth natural disaster scenarios is going to be either an asteroid impact, a solar flare, or like maybe a volcanic eruption.
Do you think that will end the Earth?
Volcanic, it's potentially. The Yellowstone thing that that we have, that could. It's not going to be like an instant. The Earth is destroyed with like the Yellowstone. It's going to be more of like so much ash and debris is going to be dispersed
like
into the atmosphere. Yeah, that it's going to cover like most of the world, and then you're going to have like mass death of plants and stuff, and it's going to be very hard for us to survive because we're not going to be able to grow anything. So we won't be able to feed our livestock. We won't be able to feed, ourselves in that way. It's going to be really bad if that happens too. So
yeah, anything, especially like stars in the universe, they die. Eventually, they end up dying. Earth planets, they end up dying. There's a lot of, there's billions of galaxies, and inside billions of galaxies, there's billions of planets. And I wonder how many of those are dead planets that maybe one day had human civilization and was hit by an asteroid.
Yeah, they say that about Mars. Mars was potentially was habitable. They say Venus was habitable.
Venus?
Yeah.
Wow. I can't imagine. Not now, though, right?
No. It's the hottest planet in the solar system, hotter than Mercury, because of like the it's like a pressure cooker
Wow.
in there. The atmosphere is super thick, and so like heat is just trapped in there.
I saw this thing on YouTube. It showed the comparisons between Earth and the sun, and they had like it was like a little marble, and the sun was a basketball.
Yeah,
that's how big the star is.
yeah,
of the sun.
I think if they say it's like about 1 million Earths could fit inside the sun.
Jeez,
yeah,
that's massive. And how many suns are there?
There's so many stars. Oh my gosh, and our sun is like tiny compared to some of the biggest.
Oh yeah,
there's suns that are the same scale as our planet is to the sun, but our planet, like imagine a sun that can fit 1 million of our suns in it.
That's incomprehend. Like I can't comprehend that.
No,
I really can't. I don't think anyone can.
No, it's an incomprehensible thing for us to really understand the size of the universe. It's just crazy. So massive.
Yeah,
it could be infinite. We don't know. They say that there's the cosmic microwave background or whatever, so we can measure the size of the universe from that, but we really don't know. That's the observable universe, so there could be more stuff beyond that. So if we were in a different place in the universe, our observable universe would be different than where we are now. So,
wow. But you know what blows my mind? We think the universe, like we've been talking about how massive the universe is, right?
Yeah.
What if the universe is just inside another planet? Like there's billions of galaxies in one planet, right?
Oh yeah.
How about there's billions of universes in universal galaxies?
There could be. They say that like
wouldn't that be nuts?
That's
dude?
one of the black hole theories. Is that it's just like it's like the entrance to like a Big Bang or something, or like black holes are like just the entrance to an alternate universe or something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We don't know.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why I'm like, there's got to be life out there. It can't be just us.
Absolutely. Yeah. If we want to get back into if there's aliens, there's absolutely gotta be aliens out there. And then we live in a universe with billions of galaxies, literally.
Yeah.
So there's trillions of suns, of stars, trillions of planets. There's got to be one.
Maybe trillions of universes.
There could be.
Who knows?
Yeah, could be very endless out there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And Apophis is like one of those things that I feel it's an eye opener for anybody.
Yeah. This is like in recorded history, this could be a major, major thing that we've never seen before. We've never seen something like this in our recorded history come this close,
That's that's another thing. They say it might dent the earth, right?
Yeah.
But really
human projection of how much damage this could actually do, we have no idea.
Yeah. We have no idea.
We really don't know.
It can be the end of the
world. I bet it's going to be a lot worse than whatever we think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. I think it's going to be so massive that people will have no chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And civilization might end up restarting again.
It could.
It could. Or it could not.
I want to be hopeful that it's not going to be like a huge freaking even if it hits, like, yes, there's going to be billions of dollars worth of damage and very high loss of life, like in the hundreds of thousands to millions. But yeah. I don't think we're going to be seeing. I personally believe we're not going to see billions of deaths or anything like that. But
we're no astrophysics, right? But
yeah,
something tells me by reading everything that I've read about Apophis that they're not telling everything they want to tell.
Sure.
When
have they ever told us
they're not going to tell you
whole story.
They're not going to tell that it could be a earth-shattering end of the world deal, because they can be like, it's just going to dent Earth, going to a couple million people die, everything will be back to normal, and in reality it can just be the end of the world.
Could be. It's possible.
And we just are.
They've already been shipping. They've been shipping all the rich people out of here. We just don't know it.
Well, didn't you hear Mark Zuckerberg? Didn't he build a what are they called? Those underground bomb shelters.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, he was talking about Apophis, and then they're like, "Didn't you build a bomb shelter under your house or whatever?" And yeah, it's saying 30,000 square feet.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's huge.
He's got a mansion under his
mansion right under his, and maybe he knows something we don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it's possible.
If Apophis did hit, and they would have to have human civilization go somewhere else, so that human species would still continue. Who do you think who would be the first person?
Who would be the first person to what?
To leave Earth. Who would they say, hey, you got to leave Earth. That way, human civilization still continues.
Oh, so you'd have to have like a group of people then.
No, but
Right?
I know.
couldn't just say-
Let's just say one. I mean, it's not gonna be Kanye
Who's
West.
going to be the
dude.
first one on the list?
Yeah, it's gonna be. Who do you think it is? Not Kanye
Who
West.
would be the first
you know?
one on the list? Probably. I bet it's going to be people. If it's not going to be like celebrities, maybe
I don't think so.
maybe it would be some just because they have so much money they could buy their way in. But like, if you had to like get yourself onto if you were leaving? I mean, what's money going to be worth?
It's not gonna be worth anything.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's more of going to be along the line of
IQ?
your engineers
Yeah.
and freaking doctors and just people with know-how, people with like common skills, with trade skills.
Right.
you know?
What is Cardi B going to be doing out there?
Right,
You know? Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
They're going to need someone with high IQ, engineering, any kind of skill.
Yeah.
And that'd be super interesting.
Mhm.
I'm surprised they haven't made a movie about that. If they did, I have no idea about it. But
Yeah. There is a show called
The Third Problem.
No.
Oh, that's
No.
a great show.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
Netflix.
Maybe it's similar. No, it's on shoot, what is it on? It's on Hulu. And I was watching it at my sister's house. It's only one season. I think it's called Paradise.
Mhm.
And it's about basically a end of the world scenario. And there's some foreknowledge of the end of the world scenario. So this woman who knows about it, she had won like a outlandish amount of money and in like a lottery, or when she sold her company or something like that, and she was like she had like $56 billion or something like that, and she ended up using it to hollow out a large mountain range, and they were able to fit like, I don't remember how many people in there, like 10,000 people or something. They basically built a town into this mountain range and made it look all, like a normal town.
Yeah.
They had like this little huge light in a dome like structure. So like the light would like rise in the east, set in the west, kind of like
Really?
an actual sun, but it's just like a big. I was like, man, I was watching this. I was like, man, if Flat Earth saw this show, they would love it. Yeah. But there's all these politics involved in the show, and it centers around a group of people, and there's a lot of betrayal and people lying to each other, and there's a lot of just and then there's they're kind of talking about, there's survivors out there, we got to go see if there's survivors. I can't remember because I thought it was because I was hypothesizing in the show that it was an asteroid that caused the problem, but it ended up being something else. It was like a volcanic eruption, I think.
I'll have to check it out and see.
It's called Paradise.
I wish I had time to
Hulu.
just sit there and watch shows.
Yeah, I was on vacation, so I was just like, sure, I'll binge it.
Yeah.
And that's
the thing with me. I watch a show and I don't just, if it's good, I can't just watch one episode. I got to keep watching it and watching it. It just bugs me if I don't.
Yeah, there's this animated series. It's very popular right now. It's on Amazon Prime called Invincible, and it's from a comic book from the same name. And it's really, really good. Really good. I was like surprised how well the story is laid out, and just the action is really fun. It's kind of like, think of like the old Justice League cartoons with a little better animation, better storylines, and just for adults though.
Yeah,
it's more violent.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'd have to definitely look into those. But yeah, Thomas. So anything else you want to talk about Apophis before we head out?
No, just keep your eyes to the sky. 2029. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, all I gotta say is, this is an eye opener. Apophis, I don't believe everything they say about it. I don't believe that it's just gonna pass and grace, maybe, and maybe it will, maybe it won't. Yeah. And if it does hit Earth, they probably won't tell you.
Yeah,
they're not gonna tell you.
Yeah, no. I would recommend to everybody to have like food stores, not just for like an event like that's coming up in 2029 potentially, but potentially for any event.
Yeah.
Where we could be totally separated from civilization as we know it, where you can't get food from a grocery store anymore. So stock up on your canned foods, learn to grow a garden.
Yeah. I think with nuclear war that would definitely be something big, because after nuclear, I mean, just the impact of a nuclear bomb hitting you, not just radiation after that, everything that's agriculture is gone.
Yeah, it'd be very difficult.
I wonder if there's any
something.
radiation into Apophis. Do you think if the impact of Earth would it cause any kind of radiation?
Maybe.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I don't know.
I'd have to look into that.
Maybe. I mean, also, if it damages the atmosphere, we could be looking at a little bit more solar radiation or something.
And if people want to do their research, that if they're more interested in Apophis, I would definitely recommend they would be. So, well, Thomas, this was a awesome subject.
Yeah, very informative. I'm glad that we
again, we're not astrophysics. We're just talking about it. But
this was a fun topic.
But it's a fun topic to talk about.
It's also scary. I've worried about this for a long time. Not just Apophis. I worry more about something even bigger that could happen, like a bigger asteroid that we don't know about yet. Oh. Anything coming through like the eye of the sun, if it's coming,
it's over.
We're not going to see it. Yeah, so it's a scary subject, but one that should be a real topic of interest amongst a lot more people.
And it should be in the news.
Yeah.
This Apophis, I'm just shocked that it's not. People don't talk about it.
Yeah, me too. People are very much like
4 years away,
content with just not worrying about something like that. They're like, NASA says it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, like I'm gonna believe NASA. They couldn't even get 2 astronauts back home. So. All right, well, thanks, Thomas.
Yeah.
Richie. You have a good one. See you, everybody.
You too, bro. Have a good one.